The text came through at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Unknown number. One sentence that made my blood run cold. Your wife's car is at the Riverside Motel again, room 14. Again. That one word told me this wasn't the first time. Someone had been watching. Someone had been keeping track. I stared at my phone, sitting in my work truck outside a job site in Beaverton, Oregon, and felt my hands start to shake. Not from shock, I'd suspected for months. From rage. Because this time, I wasn't going alone. I opened my contacts and started a group text. My father, her father, both our mothers, her sister, my brother. I typed one message. Meet me at the Riverside Motel on Highway 26, 1 hour, room 14. Don't ask questions, just come. Then I took a screenshot of the anonymous text and attached it. Send. I put the truck in drive and headed toward the motel, knowing that in 60 minutes, my wife's affair was about to become a family reunion she'd never forget. If you want to know what happened when both families walked into that motel room, hit subscribe, because what we found wasn't just an affair, it was a conspiracy that went back 3 years. My name is Ryan Mitchell. I'm 38 years old, and I'm a licensed electrician in the Portland metro area. I've been married to Nicole for 12 years. We have 2 kids, Emma, 9, and Lucas, 6. On paper, we looked like the American dream. Nice house in Hillsboro, 2 cars, family vacations to the coast every summer. I worked hard, 50, sometimes 60-hour weeks, residential jobs, commercial contracts, whatever kept the lights on and the mortgage paid. Nicole worked part-time as a dental hygienist, 3 days a week, home by 3 p.m., plenty of time with the kids. Or so I thought. The first sign came 6 months ago. I'd gotten home early from a job that got canceled. Client had a family emergency. It was 1 p.m. on a Wednesday. Nicole's car wasn't in the driveway. The kids were at school. She should have been home. I called her cell. It rang 4 times, then voicemail. I texted, "Where are you?" 20 minutes later, "Sorry, ran to the store. Be home soon." She walked in 45 minutes later with a single bag from Fred Meyer, milk and bread. "Took you an hour to get milk?" I asked, trying to keep it light. She ran into a Sarah. We talked for a bit. Sarah was her friend from high school, lived in Gresham, 30 minutes away. "At the Fred Meyer on Cornell?" I asked. "Yeah." I nodded, let it go. But that night, I checked our bank account. No charge from Fred Meyer. The milk and bread had been bought at a 7-Eleven, 2 miles from our house. Receipt timestamp, 2:43 p.m. She'd been somewhere else for over an hour, and she'd lied about it. After that, I started paying attention. The late pickups from work, traffic was terrible. The girls' nights that ran until midnight, we lost track of time. The phone that was always face down, always on silent. The new underwear I'd never seen her wear at home. I'm not a jealous man. I'm not controlling. But I'm also not stupid. Something was wrong. I thought about confronting her, demanding answers. But I'd seen how that played out with my buddies. The denials, the gaslighting, the "you're being paranoid." I needed proof. I didn't hire a private investigator, couldn't afford it, and honestly, I didn't want some stranger digging through my marriage. Instead, I did what any electrician would do. I got technical. I bought a cheap GPS tracker on Amazon, the kind people use to keep tabs on their teenage drivers. Magnetic case, battery life of 2 weeks, real-time tracking through an app. One night, while Nicole was in the shower, I went out to her car, a 2017 Honda CR-V, and stuck the tracker inside the rear wheel well. Took 30 seconds. Then I waited. The tracker didn't lie. For 2 weeks, her patterns were normal: home, work, grocery store, kids' school. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, the dot on my phone started moving. She'd told me she was working until 5 p.m., but at 2:15, her car left the dental office and headed east on Highway 26, past our neighborhood, past the shopping centers, out toward the suburbs. The dot stopped at a location I didn't recognize. I zoomed in. Riverside Motel. A cheap roadside place with hourly rates and a flickering neon sign. My stomach dropped. The dot stayed there for 2 hours and 17 minutes. Then it moved, back toward home. She walked in at 5:30, kissed me on the cheek, and asked what I wanted for dinner. I said pizza was fine, and I didn't say a word about where she'd really been. It happened 3 more times over the next month. Always a Thursday, always the same motel, always between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. I screenshotted every trip, saved the timestamps, built a file. But I still didn't know who. I thought about showing up, catching them in the act, but something stopped me. Maybe it was pride, maybe it was fear, or maybe I just wanted to be sure before I blew up my entire life. Then came the text. Tuesday, 2:47 p.m. Unknown number. Your wife's car is at the Riverside Motel again, room 14. I stared at it for a full minute. Someone else knew. Someone had been watching her too, and they wanted me to know. I didn't recognize the number, didn't know who sent it, but that word, again, told me everything. This wasn't a one-time tip. Whoever sent this had seen her there before, which meant I wasn't crazy, I wasn't paranoid, I was right. I sat in my truck, hands gripping the steering wheel, and felt a decision crystallize. I could go alone, kick down the door, confront them, make a scene, or I could do something better. I could make sure she couldn't lie her way out of this. I opened my contacts. First text, my dad, Robert Mitchell, retired firefighter, tough as nails, raised me to face problems head on. Second, her dad, Tom Carson, former Marine, the kind of man who believed in honor and accountability. Third, my mom, Linda, the woman who taught me that respect is everything. Fourth, her mom, Patricia, sweet woman who thought her daughter could do no wrong. Fifth, her sister, Jenna, Nicole's best friend and harshest critic. Sixth, my brother, Kyle, my backup in every fight I'd ever been in. I created a group text with all 6 of them, typed one message: meet me at the Riverside Motel on Highway 26, 1 hour, room 14. Don't ask questions, just come. Then I attached the screenshot of the anonymous text and hit send. The responses came fast. Dad, on my way. Kyle, what the hell? I'm coming. Tom, is this what I think it is? Mom, Ryan, what's going on? Patricia, I don't understand. Jenna, oh my God, I'll be there. I didn't answer any of them. I just put the truck in drive and headed toward the motel. My phone kept buzzing. Calls, texts, questions. I ignored them all. They'd get their answers in 53 minutes. The Riverside Motel sat on a strip of Highway 26 that time forgot. Single story, 20 rooms and a horseshoe layout, peeling paint, cracked asphalt parking lot, a neon sign that said vacancy in pink letters, half of them burned out. The kind of place you paid cash and didn't ask for a receipt. I pulled into the lot at 3:42 p.m. Nicole's CRV was parked in front of room 14, right where the text said it would be. My heart was pounding, but my hands were steady. I parked 3 spots down and waited. They started arriving at 3:50. My dad's truck pulled in first. He got out, saw Nicole's car, and his face went hard. He walked over to my truck. I rolled down the window. Is this real? He asked.
Yeah. He nodded once. Then let's handle it. Kyle arrived next, then Jenna, then my mom and Patricia together. They'd carpooled. Tom was last. He pulled up in his old Chevy, got out slowly, and looked at Nicole's car like it was evidence at a crime scene. We all stood in the parking lot, a semicircle of family, staring at room 14. The curtains were drawn, a do not disturb sign hung on the door handle. Patricia looked at me, eyes wet. "Ryan, are you sure?" I held up my phone, showed her the GPS history. 4 trips, same location, same time windows. She covered her mouth. Tom's jaw clenched. "Who's in there with her?" "I don't know," I admitted, "but we're about to find out."
I walked to the door. The family followed. I didn't knock. I didn't announce myself. I just turned the handle. It was unlocked, and I pushed it open. The room was dim, curtains drawn, one lamp on, a queen bed in the center, clothes on the floor, and there, frozen in the middle of it all, was Nicole. She was standing by the bed in a hotel robe, hair wet, face flushed, and next to her, pulling on his jeans in a panic, was someone I recognized. My stomach turned. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't some random guy from a bar. It was Marcus Webb, my former business partner, the man I'd worked with for 5 years before we'd split the company 2 years ago, the man who'd been at our wedding, at our kids' birthday parties, at our house for barbecues, the man who'd shaken my hand and called me brother. The room exploded. My dad lunged forward. Kyle grabbed his arm, holding him back. Tom stepped in front of Patricia, shielding her from the scene. My mom just stood there, hand over her mouth, tears streaming. Jenna looked at Nicole like she'd never seen her before. "Are you kidding me?" Nicole's face went from shock to panic to something worse. Calculation. "Ryan," she started. "Don't," I said. My voice was calm, too calm. "Don't say a word." Marcus was scrambling for his shirt. "Man, I can explain." "Explain?" My dad's voice was a growl. "You're in a motel room with his wife and you want to explain?" Kyle stepped forward. "How long?" Silence. "How long?" Kyle shouted. Nicole flinched. 3 years. The room went silent. 3 years. Not a mistake, not a slip, not a moment of weakness. 3 years of lies. Tom looked at his daughter like she was a stranger. 3 years? Nicole's eyes filled with tears. "Daddy, Don't call me that," he said quietly. "Not right now." Patricia was sobbing. Jenna had her arm around her. My mom looked at me. "Did you know?" "I suspected for 6 months, but I didn't know it was him." I turned to Marcus. "We were partners." "Ryan, I'm sorry. We were partners." My voice cracked. "I trusted you with my business, my family, my life." Marcus looked at the floor. "And you've been sleeping with my wife for 3 years?" Nicole tried to step forward. "Ryan, please, let's talk about this privately." "Privately?" I laughed. It sounded wrong. "You've been doing this privately for 3 years. I think it's time we talked about it publicly." I pulled out my phone, opened the GPS app, turned it toward the room. 4 trips to this motel in the last 6 weeks, every Thursday, 2 to 3 hours each time. I swiped to the next screen. Before that, it was the Comfort Inn on 217. Before that, his apartment when I was out of town on jobs. Nicole's face went white. "You've been tracking me?" "You've been cheating on me," I shot back, "for 3 years." Tom stepped forward. "Nicole, is this true?" She didn't answer. "Answer me!" "Yes!" she screamed. "Yes, okay? Yes!" The room went silent again. Patricia sank into a chair, sobbing. Jenna looked at her sister with pure disgust. "How could you?" Marcus finally found his voice. "Look, man, it just happened." "It just happened," I repeated slowly. "For 3 years, it just kept happening. We didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to? My dad stepped forward. You've been screwing his wife in cheap motels, and you didn't mean to hurt him? Kyle grabbed my dad's arm again. Dad, not worth it. But my dad shook him off. He walked right up to Marcus, got in his face. You're a coward, he said quietly, and you're done. What? You're done in this town, done in this industry. I'll make sure every contractor, every supplier, every client knows what you did. You can't. Watch me. I turned to Nicole. I want you to say it. Ryan, say it, out loud, in front of everyone. She looked around the room, at her parents, her sister, my family. I've been having an affair with Marcus for 3 years, she whispered, louder. I've been having an affair with Marcus for 3 years, she shouted, tears streaming. I nodded. Thank you. I looked at my mom. Can the kids stay with you tonight? She nodded, wiping her eyes. Of course. I looked at Tom. I'll file for divorce tomorrow. I'm asking for full custody. He met my eyes. You will have my support. I looked at Patricia. I'm sorry you had to see this. She just sobbed. Then I looked at Nicole one last time. I loved you, I said quietly. I gave you everything, and you threw it away for him. I turned to Marcus. You can have her, but you'll never have my respect, and you'll never work in this town again. I walked out of that motel room with my family behind me. We left Nicole and Marcus standing there, exposed, humiliated, with nowhere to hide. In the parking lot, my dad put his hand on my shoulder. You did the right thing. Doesn't feel right, I said. It will, he said, eventually. Kyle hugged me. I'm proud of you, man. Tom shook my hand. You're a good man, Ryan. Better than she deserved. We stood there in that parking lot under a gray Oregon sky, and I felt something shift. Not relief, not victory, just clarity. I drove to my parents' house, picked up Emma and Lucas. They were watching TV, oblivious. Where's Mom? Emma asked. She had to work late, I said. You're staying with Grandma and Grandpa tonight. Cool, Lucas said. Emma looked closer. Are you okay, Dad? I knelt down, looked her in the eyes. I will be, sweetheart, I promise. I hugged them both, held them longer than usual.
Then I left them with my parents and drove home to an empty house. The house felt different. I walked through rooms that used to mean family and saw only lies. The couch where she'd sat texting him while I watched TV. The kitchen where she'd kissed me goodbye before driving to meet him. The bedroom where she'd slept beside me after being with him. Every surface was contaminated. I grabbed a duffel bag and started packing. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop. I wasn't staying here tonight. Maybe not ever again. I checked into a hotel. Not the Riverside. I'd never be able to stomach that place. A decent chain off I-5. Clean. Anonymous. I sat on the edge of the bed and finally let myself feel it. The betrayal, the humiliation, the rage. But also something else. Relief. Because I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was right, and now everyone knew it. The next morning I called a lawyer. Her name was Sharon Reeves, came highly recommended by my dad's friend. I walked her through everything, the GPS tracking, the motel, the confrontation. Do you have proof of the affair? She asked. I have GPS records, timestamps, and 6 witnesses who saw them together in a motel room. She smiled. That'll work. I want full custody, I said. I want the house. I want her out of my life. Oregon is a no-fault state, she warned. Adultery doesn't automatically give you everything. I don't care about everything, I said. I care about my kids. I want them safe. I want them with me. Then we'll fight for that, she said. The divorce took 8 months. Nicole tried to fight for custody, claimed I was unstable, that I'd ambushed her. But the GPS records told the story. So did the witnesses. Her own father testified that he'd seen her in a motel room with another man. Her own sister said she'd been lying to the family for years. The judge wasn't impressed. I got primary custody, she got every other weekend. I got the house, she got her car and half the savings. Marcus? He lost his contractor's license after my dad made some calls. Word spread fast in our industry. Last I heard, he'd moved to Seattle, trying to start over. Nicole moved into an apartment in Beaverton, works full-time now. Has to. A year later, I'm sitting in my living room. Emma and Lucas are doing homework at the kitchen table. The house feels different now, lighter. I repainted the bedroom, got new furniture, made it mine. The GPS tracker is in a box in my garage. I don't need it anymore. But I kept the screenshots, just in case. People ask me if I regret bringing the whole family to that motel. I don't, because lies thrive in darkness. They die in the light. I could have confronted her privately, let her spin a story, let her control the narrative. Instead, I brought witnesses. I brought accountability. And I made sure that everyone who mattered saw the truth with their own eyes. I got a text last week, unknown number. I'm glad you found out. She didn't deserve you. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back, "Who is this?" No response. I don't know who sent that first text, the one that started everything. Maybe it was a friend, maybe a coworker, maybe someone else Marcus had screwed over. I'll probably never know. But whoever they are, they gave me the push I needed. And for that, I'm grateful. If this story hit home, comment, "I brought the light." If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever needed proof, if you've ever had to choose between silence and truth, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more stories about the moment everything changes, because the truth doesn't need permission, it just needs witnesses.